Woof. Okay, so it is March 3rd, and this is the March 3rd DevBlog that came out on World of Warships. And it is talking about changes to the air defense mechanics. Now, if you recall, there was something talking about the changes to AA a while back. There was a dev blog on that, on how they were going to change how the AA worked with respect to carriers, and we'll see how that plays out. I'm concerned that they actually might be able to make it worse than before, but let's see what this thing looks like. So air defense mechanics, and this is closed testing, not so this is a conception test. They're calling it the top. It's I'll bet it's not going to be an immaculate conception, that's for sure. But let's see, it says in the near future, a closed testing session will be held to trial a new mechanic prototype related to air defense. In the upcoming session of the public test, we will continue testing the possible changes to the air defenses that we already spoke of earlier. So I can actually click over that because they had that link to it there. So that's where we were talking about the new AA parameters and how it was going to affect things. I don't know. I think my message for that one is that there was some hope, but I'm not too sure. We're going to wait to pass judgment until we see if it works. But they're saying in the upcoming session that this time a number of new mechanics will be added on top of the changes previously mentioned. The depth charge airstrike armament will now have an alternative firing mode with distinct characteristics and aiming mechanics. So you're going to have two modes for the depth charge airstrike. Okay. That kind of goes against a lot of the talk of, dumbing the product down so that more people have a chance to be effective. We'll see. Because, having the alternative firing mode, a below average player or a player without a good attention span, are they going to pay any attention to that or understand it? I may not be able to understand it. Hey, so what are they saying? With this alternative mode active, the airstrike aircraft fly to the indicated point and starts patrolling similarly to the fighter consumable. So that means that now you can take what's I guess your ASW planes. You can either send them out for ASW for a sub, or you can just send them over somewhere and let them start patrolling their area. That's what I'm getting out of that. So it says, while being pursued by aircraft deployed through the alternative strike mode, squadrons completely lose the ability to detect ships. They can, however, still see ships that are detected by allies. So if I'm understanding what they're saying then is you send your alternate fighter patrol out, and if they lock on and pursue carrier planes coming in, then those carrier planes lose their ability to spot or to detect ships. They can obviously still see ships that everybody else can see. I get that, but that's just kind of weird. I'm going to have to take a second to digest this because this is weird. Unlike fighters, these planes are capable of pursuing an enemy squadron for an extended period of time, though they do not cause significant damage to their HP. AA effectiveness will be higher against squadrons that are being pursued by airstrike planes. So, okay, let's think about this again. So you've put these planes up. If they lock onto a squadron of carrier planes coming in, then now those planes can't spot. And however, even though they're locked on, they can't shred the things like regular fighter planes can. Sounds like they do maybe a little bit of chip damage. And if they fly near you, your AA will be more effective against them. I don't know what that means exactly. But there looks like they're going to tell us here. AA effectiveness is a new parameter that sets the chance that continuous damage will be dealt to an aircraft from an attacking group of the squadron. That's in the previous mechanics that they talked about. Otherwise, the damage will be dealt to the aircraft from the rest of the squadron. At the same time, the airstrike aircraft themselves are incapable of detecting enemy ships under any circumstances, and they are vulnerable to AA. So that means you can't spam those things out to try to detect another ship. I'm assuming that means if you send those out, much like players do now, they send their airstrike out, and if you forget and accidentally leave your AA on, then you are detected when your AA opens up. So I'm assuming that that's no longer going to be a thing. They can send those out, and it's not going to do anything now other than just provide planes for you to shoot down. It's not going to spot you. Okay. This new mechanic will allow surface ship captains to more actively defend themselves and their allies against enemy aircraft by reducing their spotting potential, and it will also make the airstrike armament more versatile. Okay. All this is preliminary. May change multiple times. All I can say is from what I see here, I hope it does change, because thinking about this, this is just too weird. So basically, you're giving us fighters to deploy that if they lock on. Now, see, this is the other thing, is if they lock on and pursue incoming aircraft carrier squadrons, if they do that, then those squadrons can't detect you, and and if they do get near you, your AA is more effective against them. So I don't understand why all this, I don't know what the right word for it is, this convoluted do this to do this to do this to do this to do this thing is there, because there are probably several easier solutions, but I don't understand why they don't just make the spotting only be on the mini map, because you already have it. It's already coded in the game, if I understand that correctly. When radar goes off, you see the ship on the mini map for 5 seconds before you physically see it. When there's my favorite game mode, when there's a storm or a cyclone, and the spotting range is compressed down to 8 kilometers. Well, if one of your other teammates is spotting a ship, you can't see it. Unless you're within the 8 kilometers, you can only see the location on the mini map. And I don't understand why they don't just make carriers can only spot you on the mini map, in that aspect, and that there's, I don't understand. Is that much difficult to code? It looks like this is adding a whole hell of a lot more coding to try and accomplish that thing, which is reducing the spotting of aircraft carriers whenever you've already got it in the game. And again, I'm not a software engineer, so I don't know what it takes to code all these, but it just seems as though you've already got the basis there, and you just have to make it that way for aircraft carriers. It doesn't seem, as an engineer, it doesn't seem like that should be a difficult thing. This, adding a new mode and a second strike, or a second capability for your airstrikes, adding that, and then if it locks on, because I'm assuming that's going to be a thing, it might not log on. The aircraft carrier may avoid it. Yeah, I don't know how big the bloom is going to be or anything, but so if it locks on, then they can't spot you. Well, I guess that's kind of a way to say, well, we're going to maybe not take it completely. We're not going to completely take away the ability of carriers to spot you. We're just going to give you some more hope. That's what this is. We're going to give you a little bit of hope. But this just seems like a lot of stuff, a lot of extra stuff for players to keep up with. You know, when you're playing a DD, now granted, most of the DDs don't have the ASW planes, but still, there's already a lot to keep up with on some ships, depending on what all capabilities the ship has. And you're going to add yet another thing to keep up with that may only be partially effective. It just seems like a lot of coding in the game, and we all know what happens every time, you know, coding gets introduced, because I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen with the coding when these new Pan American cruisers with the new coding are going to get released. I'm just concerned they're going to screw stuff up there. And they've still got stuff that they've screwed up in the past with that and haven't fixed yet. So we'll see. I just don't see anything good coming out of this. I don't see I don't know. I just don't see this as being a good thing. You know, just do something simple and fix the thing. You've already fix it with something you've already got coded into the game. I don't know what else to say. This one is definitely kind of a salty, kind of a salty blog, because I don't like what I'm seeing, and I don't know. Maybe we'll figure that out. You know, I've heard other. I have heard in the past other content creators talk about, you know, ask the question, you know, do the developers actually play this game? And I have to question that myself at times, because there's at times you go, there's no way that whoever developed this plays the game. I just don't understand how it could be possible. So I don't know. I'm just not liking what I see on this one. So we'll leave it at that. And that's your March 3rd dev blog for additional changes to air defense mechanics. You know, promise us a little hope, but when there's probably not really a whole lot. So anyway, let's stop talking about warships and we'll go play some. How about that? Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to see notifications of future videos, just ring the bell. Until next time, Tater Dawg says, woof.